Welcome. We are live at Eastridge Elementary School. We are going to meet with James Blake. He's the curriculum specialist for science, and today we have a huge palette of science materials for grades 3 through 5. This is the new science curriculum for Lincoln Public Schools, and we have palettes like this all throughout Lincoln Public Schools. Over the next couple weeks, we're going to have teachers in here exploring, learning, figuring out how to use this in the best way possible for their students. So we're going to walk through and open up and see what kind of fun stuff we find.
I pulled one kit right away. This is 4th grade electricity. It's going to come in lots of order, random order 3, 4, 5. That you can see little LED lights, and you think of batteries and bulbs. One thing I haven't found yet, but I might pull out in a few minutes, is called Makey Makey. It's a little circuit board that attaches to kids' Chromebooks. So instead of learning electricity just through batteries and bulbs, like a lot of us have learned it, they still have that part, learning the circuits. They'll be creating things like keyboards using a banana as one of the keys, or electric guitar where they use their body as a circuit, and it's very engaging. We already have some video of students being completely engaged. Again, at face value, we have some marbles, we have glass, wood, and steel. We have some carpet samples, we have some sandpaper. You might be thinking, what is this? I actually don't see the long box that I'm looking for. But 5th grade this year will learn scientific investigations through creating roller coasters. So the balls will roll down a piece of pipe insulation. It's a little tube, and they can cut it to different lengths, tape it at different heights, make hills, make loops. And there is a lot of physical science in there, learning kinetic and potential energy. But really what they're focusing on is learning the scientific process. So how do they ask a question, follow it in their scientific lab book, follow up on that question, work in groups as scientists, collaborate to solve problems. And so really excited about 5th grade scientific investigations. Again, simple machines is one of the units, something that kids have a lot of excitement about, learning pulleys, gears, inclined plane, solving problems. It's very much an engineering unit. Opening a 5th grade reusables box. There's reusables at each grade and consumables. These things should last hopefully a few years, where the consumables things are using up every year. Every teacher gets a kit of the consumables. So I even got some paper tubes that I know can be a pain for teachers to ask students to bring from home. So things where the cost was not prohibitive and we could help you get this taught. We definitely tried to include that whenever we could. Pretty simple, I guess, standard equipment. Have some mass scales, which goes along with some of the chemistry units for sure, rocks and minerals in 5th grade. This is a cool one. So we have awesome Aquifer Kits. I like the little box. I've been attracted to it ever since I've seen them. This is from a local company, the Groundwater Foundation, right here in Lincoln. I call it local, but it's a national foundation. They've been out with us in the pilot, and it shows how pollution moves through an aquifer. And so we've gotten 3 of these for every teacher kit, so students can have that hands-on experience with how, you squirt some blue dye into the water, it runs through certain layers, and the dye goes away. So we talk about the health of the aquifer. We can build in little clay pieces, different activities around this. But I think it's a good story about how a community partner understood we have to provide it to so many, and I couldn't just go out and restock the kit myself, and so they changed their business model to provide us also a refill kit so we can keep this sustained in our curriculum. So just really enjoyed their support and people coming out from that company to help us with the pilot. These are really exciting. So this was one that I'd seen, and part of my job, I worked as state science director. It's starting my 3rd year in LPS, and before that I taught at North Star High School. But I get to go to a lot of meetings, and this one's called Makey Makey. It looks attractive. You've got the bananas on there, and they really do use bananas with one of the lessons. The point of this, if you remember learning circuits with batteries, bulbs, and wires, this was one where the fun of writing this curriculum, I just had this thought pop into my head as we're doing 4th grade electricity, that we should look at these, because you use your body as a circuit. You could draw out a joystick on a piece of paper, and you can clip these alligator clips on there, and you touch your paper and it controls what's happening on your screen. I just watched a video this morning, let me take one of these out, of a girl on an exercise bike, and she had rigged one of these up to control Google Earth. So she was literally riding a stationary bike in her classroom, and moving through the city of Kansas City and navigating to the public library through her screen. So I think the possibilities with this, we're going to share it with LPS computer science at Kent Steen, because we're only using them 3 weeks out of the year. So his teachers will have access in computer science in elementary to also be working with these. So simple looking, not very expensive, and we found in the pilot they hold up well, so we felt it was a good investment. And this was something Zach had asked me earlier about being innovative. I think something like this, using the Chromebook as the battery and at simplest way, and then you can also do some more advanced things with the computer. This was a great thing we had success with in the pilot. Here we have a great assortment of rocks. So one thing I know, having been out with the pilot, if you set out random rocks, kids will gravitate to that and be studying and want to know the different types. So we still study the different types of rocks, the rock cycle. Here we have some nice, little science pun there for you. Yeah. It's pronounced nice, but we go through and they test the rocks. There's probably some streak plates. Got a piece of sulfur there. That one's easy to recognize. But all kinds of different rocks. Some of these things we hope will last quite a while. But in working with a large company like we did to build these kits, we know that it's sustainable. So when LPS runs out of something or teachers need more, it's really easy to call them and say, send us another kit. It says space. You can see some of the simple materials which, out of context of the class, probably looking at it going, how is Plato supposed to teach space? But yeah, I've seen some of these units. I know space is one that teachers spent a lot of time designing. And there's going to be some great modeling of the Earth, Sun, Moon. That's really the focus there, is students will walk out and understand the phenomenon. If they step outside and they look at the moon and it looks this way at this time, they can kind of see it in their mind's eye from space, and where the Earth would be, where the sun would be, where the moon would be. So a lot of great learning there around the moon. I do have to highlight these. I hope it's fiscally responsible. It wasn't that expensive, and I know one pain for teachers we got through the pilot, and we really listened to teachers, is how hard it is to have students go home and collect certain materials.
I think parents would agree, right?
The toilet paper tube, the paper towel tube. So these were so cheap compared to market value. I had these thrown in the kit. So teachers, there you go. So you can see, the hands-on with science, you need chemicals. You can't just do it with worksheets. We have vinegar, things you'd find in the kitchen, kind of a kitchen chemistry level of chemistry, but very fun. I know the baking soda, they're going to produce some carbon dioxide gas and show how it's denser than air. So they'll pour it invisibly into a cup, and then they'll take that cup and pour it invisibly onto a candle that will go out when seemingly nothing was in there. So I think students are really going to like that. You can see, the hands-on with science, you need chemicals. You can't just do it with worksheets. We have vinegar, things you'd find in the kitchen, kind of a kitchen chemistry level of chemistry, but very fun. I know the baking soda, they're going to produce some carbon dioxide gas and show how it's denser than air. So they'll pour it invisibly into a cup, and then they'll take that cup and pour it invisibly onto a candle that will go out when seemingly nothing was in there. So I think students are really going to like that.